With News Live, some international headlines for you. Lawyers for inmates at America's Guantanamo Bay detention center have filed a new legal challenge, arguing that the prisoners' incarceration has gone on for too long. President Obama promised to close the controversial prison, but his efforts to transfer prisoners to the US were thwarted by Congress. Protesters gathered outside the White House yesterday, 16 years after the detention center opened, to call on President Trump to close Guantanamo Bay. Our US Correspondent Harry Horton was there.
Just 41 prisoners remain inside Guantanamo prison, a fraction of the 700 who were once housed in the aftermath of the 9/11 terror attacks. But many inmates are yet to face trial or even be charged, and their lawyers say imprisonment has gone on for too long.
The perpetual state of uncertainty about whether or not they will leave, if ever, is a torturous mental condition to be in, and it has physical effects that are disastrous. So many of the men are deteriorating physically and psychologically.
Those people held there still fundamentally have no rights.
Human rights groups have filed a legal challenge, arguing that detention of 11 of the prisoners violates US and international law. The Pentagon says it will keep reviewing whether detainees continue to pose a risk, but President Trump has said there should be no further prisoner releases from Guantanamo. 16 years since the first prisoners entered Guantanamo Bay, and almost 8 years since President Obama called for its closure. To these protesters, the prospect of shutting down Guantanamo prison seems further away than ever.
With the Guantanamo Bay being open, it is a representation to the world that we allow torture, that we deny people due process and a fair trial.
Guantanamo Bay remains infamous around the world as a symbol of America's war on terror. Without intervention from the courts, the men behind these walls could remain in their prison cells until they die. Harry Horton, SABC News, Washington.